Welcome everyone to the Yo Bro Gaming and Review channels. I am Zach, and this is my first ever This is WWE. Now allow me to explain what this is going to be. This is me talking about topics within the WWE that has happened over the past month and where I think the state of the WWE is. Now I'm going to talk about various topics. This is not necessarily a review. This is just me discussing things that I have issues with or I think that the WWE is doing good with. So, with that said, where do I start? Let's start with the mid-card and how the WWE still hasn't really done well with building the mid-card and how they're trying to push to WrestleMania, and this kind of ties in with WrestleMania. They're trying to do their push to WrestleMania, and they're scrambling around trying to get matches set up, big matches that you would think would be good for WrestleMania. When you look at the past at different Manias, they've seemed to rely, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, on big names outside of the company. And that's good because even as a wrestling fan, you do like to see The Rock, and you like to see an Austin make an appearance, and you like to see Brock Lesnar and others. However, with the amount of injuries that are going on, with a Randy Orton and a Seth Rollins, and possibly even now a Finn Balor, I'm going to touch on that in this too, and others being injured, and you're trying to push to WrestleMania, you've had to bring in AJ Styles. You're bringing in a Nakamura, and you're bringing in other people from the Bullet Club. But they're not really names yet that you could really build for WrestleMania. And other than AJ Styles, we still don't know if they're going to be a part of WrestleMania. And then you got your Randy Ortons and your Seth Rollins, and you got others who are still out. So you're trying to bring in names, and you know you've got The Rock, but you don't know yet if he's wrestling. We have this WrestleMania starting to shape up to be less than WrestleMania worthy. Because you have a guy like a Dolph Ziggler, and you have Bray Wyatt, who should definitely be a main event championship picture type of guy. You're building this mid-card to be simply just mid-cards. You're not allowing a Daniel Bryan to come back. He's been cleared by 3 different doctors, none of which is the goon, if I could use that term, the idiot that is the head doctor for the WWE who refuses to clear him. So what do? You're trying to get all these names. So Batista's already turned down. Shawn Michaels isn't wanting to come back, even though apparently Vince McMahon's trying to get him to be a big part of WrestleMania. And you still haven't done anything for your mid-card to put their names out there. Everything that's going wrong is on the WWE. Not pushing these guys, not building them up to legit go against a guy like a Brock Lesnar or to face a guy like a John Cena who is also injured. We're kind of seeing a shape up of the WrestleMania card, but you still don't know where that leaves an Undertaker. And they're talking about a guy like Braun Strowman possibly facing the Undertaker. But who would believe that, considering Strowman isn't really been built up? And WWE's building up for their main event matches. But where does that leave all of the undercard and the mid-card? You're going to have a bunch of mid-card matches that no one's going to care about because none of them have been given the time to really grow. You get Monday Night Raw. It's a 3-hour show. And you build it around one person. I'm not going to get too much into that. I'm still going to go on that in a little bit. I guess what I'm trying to say here is WWE really needs to get their heads out of their asses and really start looking at the mid-card and really start looking at what they want to do. You're in the middle of WrestleMania season, heading into Fastlane in a few weeks, and you still haven't done anything for your mid-card. Which leads me and I know you're probably thinking, what is your point? My point is mid-card sucks, and nothing they do trying to build matches for Mania are believable. Which leads into my next subject. Sorry, I gotta take a drink. My throat's a little dry. Building up matches for pay-per-views seems to be something the WWE really sucks at, which is evident with their build to WrestleMania, has been evident with so far the build up to Fastlane and into the Royal Rumble and into TLC and with Survivor Series. Now, with Survivor Series, I kind of understand. You had the whole Seth Rollins situation happen, so you kind of had to shuffle things around. And with Cena getting injured, with Cena getting injured, you kind of had to fix things there too. So, but outside of that, WWE's had this issue, and I can remember back in the day when you'd be doing something with a pay-per-view, say like No Way Out. You'd have the pay-per-view Royal Rumble, and then the next night, the main event would be announced for the next pay-per-view. And then they would build that over the course of the next 3 to 4 to 5 weeks, depending on how long the pay-per-views took place after each other. In that time frame, within the next week or 2 weeks, you started getting mid-card matches and co-main events announced. And these matches were built. You were given reasons as to why they were built the way they were and why these guys were having feuds. And sometimes they were just as simple as, this guy wants the belt. Or there was something that happened a few months back that, hey, I was dealing with this at this point, but now I'm back to you because you did what you did. There was always a reason, and there was always build to these matches. Now you look at the WWE. Outside of the Ambrose and Owens match at the Rumble, nothing really was built right. Nothing really was set up to say, this is going to be a match. They always wait till like the week before or the week of or the night of to actually promote matches for the pay-per-view. Now that might not seem like too much to some people, but for me, you're wanting to get these B-level pay-per-views like Fastlane, like Battleground, and even Money in the Bank, which they've tried to make sound like it's a big deal. They've tried to build these as these awesome pay-per-views with these huge matches, but half the time you don't know what a match for the show is until right before the pay-per-view, or like I said, the night of. So that's kind of an issue, and I understand that the matches being set and how it is versus NXT is due to the fact that you got two stupid people up top by the name of Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn, who want it done the way that they want it done and what they think is a good storyline, which is why the ratings are plummeting on Raw. And I'm going to touch on that probably in this next one because I want to see how it's progressed, because the ratings have been up and they've been down. And this kind of helps lead into the next thing. WWE, promote your matches better. There's many people. You're supposed to get Hollywood stars to do this stuff, to script your things. Well, they're not doing very good, and that's probably your fault. And again, that leads to this next thing. The booking. The booking for these things have been horrible. I want to read a couple pieces of news. I'm not a newsbreaker. I don't cover the rumors or the news for the WWE. I leave that to people much smarter than myself. People like JD from New York. You can go watch him. He's on YouTube. Or Joe from the Joe Cronin Show. That's more of their thing. Go check them out. They're much better at this than I am. But I want to read a piece of the news, just to kind of give you guys an idea of the booking. Waiting for it to pop up. Now, here it is. This is about Dean Ambrose being set for a match with Brock Lesnar. And this is from the Inquisitor. And it says, WWE rumors are stating that Dean Ambrose confronted Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw last night in an opening segment because management is setting up a big match at WrestleMania 32 between two of them. According to the official website of World Wrestling Entertainment, WrestleMania is always the biggest wrestling pay-per-view of the year. WrestleMania 32 is supposed to be one of the biggest of them all, the granddaddy of them all, if you will. Vince McMahon wants this one to shatter the attendance record at WrestleMania 3, headlining the legendary Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. There is a reason why WWE pays big money to Brock Lesnar for his friendliest schedule on the active roster. And that reason is my throat's dry. And that reason is why they had him penciled in for a match at WrestleMania 32, even before the last person walked out of Levi Stadium after WrestleMania 31 ended. The problem is, okay, so basically they're setting up, I'm not going to read this whole article, it goes on way too long, and I suck at reading, I don't have my glasses. Basically, they want to set up a Ambrose-Brock Lesnar match for whatever reason. They think that that's a good match. Now, I don't necessarily believe this rumor is true, but let's just go on the assumption that it is. If it is true, why would you all of a sudden flip the script, go from what looks like you might set up what could be an awesome match in Chris Jericho versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship, when you could easily build that match around the fact that Chris Jericho wants to break his own record and become now a 10-time Intercontinental Champion. And you've already got the little shoulder shove back at Night of Champions in September when he teamed with Ambrose and Reigns, and you can go off of that even. You know, Ambrose felt disrespected that night. Ambrose still feels disrespected and hasn't been able to address that. You could do that even. And it looks like that could be a pretty decent match. And here they are, talking about possibly, as well as making a Brock Lesnar-Ambrose match, turning Ambrose heel. That's another rumor that's been going around, which I also think is stupid. He's your most popular guy, and you want creative to turn him heel, which I think is just utterly ridiculous for many reasons. I don't really need to go over those because anyone with half the brain knows why that's stupid. You're just going to, and if it's for the sake, the rumor is they want him to turn heel to help put over Roman Reigns, which I'm going to touch on in a minute. Nothing you do, is going to get Roman Reigns over. All you're going to do is make people cheer for Ambrose more because they like Ambrose. It's an organic thing. The fans are never going to boo him because of how much they like him. And now you want to set up a Ambrose Lesnar match, and that again makes zero freaking sense. When you have a built-in storyline with a guy who's already got a belt, all you have to do is springboard off of those two things. The fact that they had an issue and the fact that he's the champion. Turn Jericho heel, have him go after Ambrose. And you also got this thing with Brock Lesnar and the Wyatt family that you've kind of already started to address. So why would you abandon that? That makes more sense, even though, as I pointed out earlier, with the mid-card not being built up right, it's hard to believe that Bray could beat Brock and that Brock will put him over clean, but at least sounds better on paper, and it's something that I would watch more. Not to say I wouldn't watch an Ambrose versus Lesnar match. I would. It'd probably be pretty good. It's just, it doesn't make sense for WrestleMania when you've already got this Jericho thing kind of sitting out there, and that makes more sense. The booking with the WWE has been bad, and the way they've booked things does come down to Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn and them wanting not to do what the people want, even though they claim that's what they do. It's not that at all. It's Vince McMahon is 70 years old. refuses to give up any sort of control for the company to a guy who, if you watch NXT, Triple H is killing it down in NXT. The way he's built that roster with the signings that he's made, everything is great down there. It's not perfect, but it's 1,000 times better than the main roster. Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn need to step to the side, stop having such a control on creative, and allow them to put things out there. Because if there's something that Vince doesn't like, no matter how good it actually sounds and how much the fans would probably like it, if it's not what he wants, being 70 and out of touch with what people in my age demographic like, it's not, just no. And history shows Vince McMahon's always been a family-friendly type of guy with his product. And the only reason he ever changed it over during the quote-unquote Attitude Era is because he had no choice at the time. Someone had to look at Vince and say, look, you have to do something different. So with this booking how it is now, ratings are going to continue to go how they are because Vince is not changing things. They're not going to promote matches on time. They're not going to book things right. They're going to keep making stupid decisions like the Ambrose decision, whether he's going to be heel or facing Lesnar. That's never going to change. And this kind of leads me into this, because this goes with the Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn booking of how they push certain people. I'll go back to 2002. You had a young guy by the name of John Cena come into the company. Not a good wrestler, but he had a decent character over the next few years, and he grew into his Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick. People liked it. But then when he started doing the more wholesome John Cena thing, people started seeing the flaws in the Cena character. What does Vince McMahon do? Where he would have took a guy like Triple H, he would have took a guy like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, or an Austin, and turned them heel. When people started booing them, he kept Cena, the face. He kept pushing Cena down your throat. And he continued that way for the next 13 years, damn near. And even now, John Cena may not be as much, is still pushed down your throat. I don't blame John Cena. And this isn't even about John Cena. This is an example. The rumor is that they're going to use The Rock at Mania. The biggest star next to Brock Lesnar that you could have for Mania. Isn't there going to be in a match? No. He's going to be there to help get Roman Reigns over. Because for some reason, WWE refuses to acknowledge the fact that Roman Reigns just simply is not over. That the fans just simply do not buy into Roman Reigns because he's clearly a corporate guy. He's a corporate produced face that they want to be the face of the company because to them, John Cena is on his way out. However, I don't think Cena's going anywhere for at least the next 2 to 3 years. So I pulled up this as well because I wanted to read this rumor. This is also from the Inquisitor. And this is what got me thinking about what I wanted to talk about for this video. This is the rumor on the Roman Reigns being put over by The Rock. WWE rumors are suggesting that the secretive role that The Rock will be playing at WrestleMania 32 will actually see him standing in the corner of Roman Reigns as he attempts to win back the World Heavyweight Championship from Triple H, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer. One of the biggest goals for Vince McMahon heading into WrestleMania 32 is trying to figure a variety of ways to ensure that the expected record-breaking audience at AT&T Stadium cheer on Roman Reigns, the man that the company has chosen to replace John Cena as the face of the WWE. Well, good freaking luck there. That's a tricky proposition because the audience has turned on the second-generation performer before in the past. Have they really started cheering him outside of the marks, the general audience, the not so into the company, just random? Where was I? A big reason why Triple H was given the victory at the Royal Rumble is because WWE, their top heel performer, to be in the main event of WrestleMania 32 as champion. Since He understands the business so well, Triple H will more than likely have some ideas during the match to manipulate the audience into supporting Roman Reigns. Since he is deeply rooted into the corporation now, the former leader of D-Generation X should have no qualms about putting over the much younger opponent. My computer is being slow. This is fun. So let's talk about this for a second. Yes, Triple H, and everyone's known that this was going to be the main event for a long time, and there has been some ideas about The Rock being in his corner. Now, I don't know if what Dave Meltzer says is true. I'm not a part of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Like I said, I'm not a news-breaking guy. And I don't see why you would waste an opportunity to put The Rock in the corner of Roman Reigns unless you had something to do. Now, again, I listen to JD from New York. That's where I get my news from every week. And he's pointed out time and time again, and I 1,000% agree with him, you need to turn Roman Reigns heel. The best opportunity they had was back at the Survivor Series, which they threw that away. Not bringing that back up again. You have a new opportunity, a great opportunity to turn him heel yet again. If you're really going to put The Rock in the role of being in his corner, you've got to do something to make Roman turn heel. I don't know how you do that. Having him turn on after the match, saying that he's too much in everything and he's keeps being a glory hog, whatever. That would be a good opportunity to turn Roman heel. But WWE, being who they are, and Vince McMahon being the out of touch old man that he's been, is not going to do that. So I don't know where WWE goes. They want Roman over. AT&T is going to be a smart crowd. If you're not entirely sure what the term means, smart, if they're a smart crowd, that basically means they're people who watch all the shows. I mean, it's WrestleMania. It's a live pay-per-view event. 100,000 people. They're trying to fill this crowd, and they probably will. It's WWE. They can do that. Excuse me. They can do that. But they're too smart. They know the product. They're not going to fall for the WWE bullshit of, ooh, Roman Reigns is the face. You got to cheer him. They're not going to. So Roman Reigns is going to walk into that venue. And this is going to kind of be a WrestleMania 22 type situation with Cena and Triple H, where Triple H was the heel and Cena got booed out of that building. That's when that started. Reigns is going to be booed. No matter what Triple H does, the crowd is going to be 1,000% behind him. So if you really want Roman to get an organic reaction, if you really want to be able to get him over as a face one day, you've got to turn him heel. You don't have an option, WWE. As one would say, bite the freaking bullet. Acknowledge the fact that Roman is not getting over as a face. You want to be the champion, make him a heel champion. Give him his WrestleMania moment as the champ. But make him a heel. Turn him. Don't put the, you want to put The Rock in it. I get that, if that's true. But don't waste The Rock on that. Turn Roman heel in that match somehow. Figure it out. You've got these Hollywood writers. Use them. Tell them to figure out a way to make him heel. And stop, for the love of God, shoving him down our throats. We are not going to accept Roman Reigns. The smart crowd is not going to accept Roman Reigns as your face. So, I don't know. I guess, we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. I would also like to make an announcement. Starting this coming Saturday, I am doing a 10-part series named Road to WrestleMania series. This is going to be 10 videos in 8 weeks where I talk about the top 10 WrestleManias that I personally like. I will have in-depth reviews on them, and I'll just go over some of the key matches and things that I like, some of the key moments. And this is all, of course, to build to WrestleMania 32 on April 3rd. So I just wanted to make that as a quick announcement. So with that being said, this is my first episode of This is WWE. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. You can subscribe to our channel, Yo Bros Gaming and Review, youtube.com. That's down there, the red button. Hit it. You'll get notifications of all our videos, anything wrestling related, anything movie related, game related. I am once again Zach. Thank you for watching this video. Follow us on our social media. All that stuff's down in the description. Thank you again for watching. God bless America, and I'll see you all for my Raw review tomorrow night. Peace out.